The craziness of NBA free agency continues. It has been a wild few days with big names going to new teams. The Wizards have also been fairly active. We'll discuss their latest moves next on Toyota Sports Talk.
Live from Newschannel 8, this is Toyota Sports Talk.
Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. Glad to have you tuning in. I'm your host, Scott Abraham. With LeBron James no longer in the Eastern Conference, you have to believe that's a big help to the Wizards. The king is gone. And with some new pieces added to the club, the Wizards could be a contender in the East. That leads us to our questions of the night. Gortat is out. Rivers, Green, and maybe Dwight Howard in. Have the Wizards upgraded since the end of the season? Are they now truly a team that can compete and have a legitimate shot to win the Eastern Conference? Our second question takes us to the diamond. Oh, those Washington Nationals. They called a players-only meeting after last night's game, and how did they respond tonight? Yep, the Nats are currently getting trounced by the Marlins. Is it time to hit the panic button? Can this team turn it around and make the playoffs again? We want to hear from you. Give us a call, 703-387-1020. And with that said, time to welcome in longtime DC sports journalist Mark Gray. You can find his work on theshadowleague.com and afro.com. Mark, back on Toyota Sports Talk again. It's been a minite. Great to have you.
Hey, I'm glad to be with the man that brought me back the Stanley Cup.
That's right. That's right. I was with that team.
Just as big as Smith, Pelly, and Ovi.
That's right. It was a 2-month grind, but I was glad to see they finally hoisted that Stanley Cup.
You didn't even grow any facial hair.
I didn't. I had to be clean. Clean shaven for TV.
Indeed.
What's new with you? How's work? What's up?
Well,
I saw that Ed Hill piece, by the way.
Oh, hey, big ups to my man Ed Hill.
Yeah.
Congratulations on the honor, well-deserved. Former Howard University Sports Information Director going into the Sports Information Directors Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame talent in his craft, but an even better Hall of Fame individual. And I can't thank him enough for the way he's impacted my career.
And that piece is on afro.com. Yep,
right
you
now.
can see that piece that Mark wrote on Ed Hill. Very, very well done. So let's talk some NBA basketball. It's been a crazy couple of days. Let's start with the Wizards. What do you like? What don't you like that they've done in the last couple of days?
I think that the roster has actually gotten better.
All right.
And they give us hope for this coming season. But I'm not quite sure that they've done it, almost as though that they're setting up for another move that may involve perhaps a Bradley Beal, perhaps an Otto Porter, moving some of that salary to get something back. But I like the Dwight Howard signing only because he'll be better at the pick and roll than Gortat was. And he's not going to require as many touches. He's no longer the guy that's going to touch the top of the rim when he's dunking the basketball. He's no longer going to be that person that you dump the ball inside. He's never had a series of low post moves, but he's a double scorer. He's a rim protector, and I like to refer to him as air traffic controller. I don't think he's bringing you any leadership. I mean, it says a lot when teams want to get rid of him and bring in more salary.
And I was just going to say that, playing devil's advocate, this is going to be his 4th team in 3 years. Wall had a problem with Gortat. Is he going to be able to mix with this locker room? There's a lot of egos, a lot of mouths to feed in that locker room.
Well, I think that if he learns how to feed himself, he'll be good.
All right.
Just do what you do, Dwight. Grab the boards, play some defense. You'll get your double-double. You'll remain an all-star, and everybody will be happy. The guy I like the most, however, is Jeff Green. Consummate glue guy, got a back to the basket game, got a face-up game to knock down shots, good person, coming home. I think
that Georgetown guy?
Yeah, when you put everything into the mix, that's the kind of guy that they've been sorely needing. And he's a veteran. He appreciates the game. I like Jeff Green a whole lot. Now, we're talking about an Eastern Conference that's a lot weaker now without LeBron there. Boston's still tough. Philly's still in their division. I think that on paper right now, I like them a little bit more than I like Toronto, but I'm still not convinced they're going to get beyond the second round, depending on how the seeds will play out.
What'd you think about Austin Rivers? They sent Gortat to the Clippers. I mean,
that to me lets me know that a perimeter option for trade could be out there, and I've got to believe, since there's such a premium on shooting, that the person that may get moved, and we do know Ernie Grunfeld likes to make trade. He's a better guy, Trader Ernie, than he is Scouting Ernie. Scouting Ernie doesn't do so hot in the draft, but it'll be interesting to see how the first-round draft choice plays out.
I feel like they've gotten a lot of similar players. You go back to the draft, they picked up Troy Brown from Oregon, 15th overall pick. They have an Austin Rivers. They have a Jeff Green. Are these all kind of similar players?
Well, the jury is still out with,
Troy Brown, yeah.
Troy Brown. I got to see a little bit more of him because I'm one of those dudes that really didn't catch a whole lot of Pac-10 basketball until the tournament. Or unless you were Arizona and UCLA, which were always on the tube in this part of the country. However, I like the length of the young fella. He plays some defense. He got a perimeter shot, and he's active. And when you start talking about that, he could be a better Kelly Oubre if he can put the biscuit in the basket.
He needs to improve his outside shot.
Yes,
he only shot 29% from three-point land with Oregon in his only year with the Ducks. Let's go to the phone lines. Randy in Temple Hills, you want to talk some Wizards. Randy, how are you?
I'm doing just great today. How about you guys?
Good. Great. So what do you think of the additions of the Wizards?
Well, I'm like half between the additions. I think Howard is a good player, but I think he let me just say, I didn't see in this draft or these picks that the Wizards did where they picked any outside shooters, and all they had was Bill. And when Bill was not hot or was missing a lot of shots last year, there was nobody else to put the ball in the hoop. And right now they don't seem to believe that they're going to need three-point shooters. So I'm wondering how they're going to manage that.
That is a great point. I go back to 2 years ago. Remember they had a guy named Bojan Bogdanovic?
Yes.
He could stroke it from the outside.
Buckets.
And he left for Indiana. Bradley Beal was basically the only outside shooter. How do the Wizards address this? I mean, Randy brings up a great point.
Well, you just got to hope that, Jeff Green can hit maybe 30% of his three-point shots. You hope that Kelly Oubre comes around. You hope basically that Bradley Beal doesn't get hurt. That's what you do right now. There's a whole lot of hoping that goes on from the perimeter. And then this puts the burden on Scott Brooks, where you might have to think about, instead of lining your perimeter players outside the three-point arc, bring them into 15 to 18 feet and make them, spot-up shooters inside the arc as opposed to outside the arc, and play some tougher defense. It'll be interesting to see what he does in terms of the X's and the O's with this new crew of Jimmys and Joes that he's got building his lineups. You know what I mean?
I mean, with LeBron gone, I think the Celtics are the clear-cut favorite, but there is no reason why the Wizards cannot be a top 4 seed in that Eastern Conference.
Well, and Philly's going to be a little bit better because
they're going to be a bear.
You lose LeBron, but then you get Ben Simmons, who does the same thing for Philadelphia, and they're going to be tough if they stay healthy. If Joel Embiid stays healthy and they figure out what they're going to do with J.R. Redick, Philly and Boston are still the two teams to beat in the Eastern Conference. It's a crapshoot everywhere else, and Wizards are just as good as anybody to contend for spots 3 or 4. But we said that last year, and what happened?
Implosion.
Yes.
That's what happened. We're just getting started on Toyota Sports Talk. My man, Mark Gray in the house. The Wizards, the Nats are the buzzwords tonight, my friends. I know we have a phone call wanting to talk about the Nats. We're going to take your call coming out of this break. We want to hear from you. 703-387-1020. Let's get it rocking and rolling on this Thursday Sports Talk. Well, welcome back to this Thursday edition of Toyota Sports Talk. DC sports journalist Mark Gray riding shotgun with me tonight. The phone lines are buzzing. We're going to start with Tim in Rockville. Tim, you want to talk some Washington Nationals?
Yes. Hi, good evening. I just want to say on the Wizards.
Okay.
I think the 3 players they got, are marginally an upgrade. The bar is set so low that, yes, it's an upgrade, but I think more important to that, I think John Wall needs to be a playmaker and involve these players. He can't be the guy who's going to take the first shot all the time. And Scott Brooks needs to really use the players to more effectively. As far as the Nats are concerned, I think Rizzo needs to get out there and maybe really try and make a big move for somebody. It seems to me that the pitching has gone south on some of these pitchers. The injuries, a guy like Zimmerman seems like he's been injured since the Ice Age, and others are getting back slowly too. So I'm just trying to think they need to go out and get some players. Thank you very much.
Tim, great call, great points. He read your mind because out of the commercial break, we were talking about Mike Rizzo and how you wanted to see maybe some tinkering, some moves done. I mean, you think Rizzo's got to get somebody in, huh?
Somebody who can shake up the clubhouse, because you were talking because you were in the clubhouse yesterday.
I was.
And I was thinking about you when I was watching Bryce have that look on his face.
Yeah.
And he was saying, we've never been in a position like this
He said this is, quote, these are exciting times. We've never been in this position before. Hello.
What's exciting about being a game below 500 and then coming out the next day? They had a players-only meeting.
How'd that
What were
go?
they discussing? Where are they going to meet after the meeting for?
Where are we going golfing in October?
Beverages or something? I mean, come on, guys. Look, they're saying the right things. They've got to be frustrated. I don't think they can believe what's going on. And to me, when I see a catcher on a pass ball, swipe at it, down a run against a team like the Red Sox, and not go all after it with his body to make a stop, I'm sensing, to me, that's the equivalent to not running out of play, going all the way down to first base. It's inexcusable, and that speaks to a spark that's missing. They need somebody that gives them a spark.
Along that spark, do you think the culture has changed inside that clubhouse with Dusty gone, Davey Martinez in? Do you think he's dealing with these players? Like your perfect example with the catcher. I mean, maybe he's coddling them. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not inside that locker room. Is he an in-your-face type of manager, do you think?
Well, I don't think he's an in-your-face type of guy, but I think you're dealing with a rookie manager. And the best thing about a rookie is that they become a sophomore or a second-year player, if you will. And I think that Davey Martinez is learning on the fly. Look, you give a guy a Porsche, and he better know how to change the oil every now and then, or he's going to blow the engine. And this is a guy right now that, to me, hasn't identified how he can get the spark out of his team. Little tweaks. Learn what makes each player tick. The game within the game, the psychological thing.
Pressing those buttons.
I don't think Davey knows how to do that. He may grow into that, but you got a level of expectation around here and a bar that's been raised so high for that team. There's not a great learning curve. You're supposed to come in, you're supposed to win, you're supposed to dominate the division, and they're not doing that.
No, they're 7 games out of first place right now going into tonight, and the way they're playing against the Marlins right now, they're going to be further back after the end of tonight. Let's go back to the phone lines. Mal in Fort Washington. Mal, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
Good, good. What do you want to touch on tonight?
Just to follow up and to piggyback on what the young man just said.
Okay.
You give the guy a Porsche, and he should be trying to learn how to operate a Chevrolet. If it's not broke, why you need to fix it? Dusty did a marvelous job. He knew how to handle men and how to motivate them and get them to live or die for him. And not only that, managing is a team effort. He had coaches there. Maddox, one of the best pitching coaches in baseball, he's gone. He had one of the best batting coaches. He's gone. I think that it's time to move both Rizzo and, God bless Martinez. It's not his fault that Rizzo chose him. But it's time to make a general manager's change. Thank you.
All right, Mel, great points. I mean, he brought up a good point. You forget about this is a whole new coaching staff. I mean,
right.
I mean, the pitching coach, the hitting coach, and the manager. I mean, this is a fresh start.
And you can't underscore the loss of a guy like Ryan Zimmerman. Just the leadership and the presence on the field.
Jason Worth, too.
And Jason Worth.
He may not have been productive at the plate or in the field, but he was a leader. He was a big brother to a lot of these young players.
And as great a player is, and Bryce Harper is the draw, but maybe he's still growing. What is he, 25, 26 years old?
Yeah.
He's still learning how to be a leader. He's a great player, No, don't get me wrong, but leadership is something that goes with time. I don't know who that leader is, and when you have a team meeting, it's your leader who drives the meeting, and who drove yesterday's meeting?
Max Scherzer apparently was reportedly the big talker in that meeting. Two-time Cy Young Award winner. I mean,
he's a pitcher, though.
Yeah,
He's out there once every fifth day. You need a position player, in my opinion, to do that. But you do know when Mighty Max goes out there, or Mad Max, if you will.
Oh, he's Mad Max.
He's that guy, and I'm thinking that you got to start him for the All-Star game, don't you? In his home park.
You'd have to think.
I would think.
Home ballpark. He's got to get the nod. So that question, time for the Nationals to panic. I assume you're hammering that with a hammer.
2 games below 500, we would assume after tonight. You fall another game behind the Braves. Yeah, it's time to press the panic button. I was watching Ray Knight after one game earlier over the weekend. He was talking about how you can make up 5 games in a week. I'm anxious to see where they are at the end of next week. If they're 8 to 10 games back, then you have to realistically start thinking
the snowball effect. I feel
wild
like
card.
they're in an avalanche right now,
Yes.
and they're just kind of stuck in quicksand. They got to find a way. They got to find that spark. Coming up next on Toyota Sports Talk, more of your phone calls, the Nats, the Wizards, or anything else you want to talk about. Let's light up those phone lines. Stay with us. The fun is beginning. Well, welcome back, my friends. Mark Gray in the house tonight. You can follow him on Twitter at the Sports Groove. So we talked about a spark for the Nats while we're on TV doing this TV thing. They're winning right now, 10-9.
Grand Slam, Trey Turner.
They were down 9-0.
I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, are you kidding me? And I was driving over here thinking, well, if they come back, maybe this is the spark that they need for the rest
Mark
of the
this
season.
moment down. If they end up winning this game, funny things can happen.
It does. Baseball's a crazy game like that.
And my director was saying, they're going to be playing a lot of teams below the 500 mark coming up, so their schedule is favorable in the next few weeks. So, hey, you never know.
You never know.
You never know. A lot of baseball left.
A lot.
Back to the phone lines. We're going to talk a little more Wizards. Alan in Virginia. Alan, how are you?
I'm good.
You want to talk about the Wizards?
Obviously, they're
okay. Alan is gone.
Yeah, they're watching the.
I know they're
caught up
probably
in
watching the
euphoria
Nats or
of
something.
The Grand Slam.
It's all good. George in Forestville. George, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, George. What do you want to touch on tonight?
Yeah, well, I wanted to talk about the Wizards.
Okay.
Yeah, I was talking earlier about Dwight Howard and Jeff Green, and y'all was wondering where to go. Y'all didn't never say nothing about Austin Rivers, coming over in the Gortat trade. And don't you think he should be able to get him some scoring or what have you off the bench?
That's a great option. Well, I mean, sometimes you run that 3-guard offense and you have him out there. There's somebody else that can knock down that perimeter shot.
You're going awfully small, though.
And but you can shoot. I mean, Golden State isn't really that big when you start thinking Steph Curry and Klay Thompson in the backcourt. Though Klay Thompson's about 6'4", 6'5". So if you can knock down perimeter shots, it mitigates the size. And remember, you bring in a guy like Dwight Howard to clean the glass and get the buckets. You still right now have a Markieff Morris, who's still on your roster. And just tell those guys, look, you want to eat? You got to go out there and get your own food. We're feeding the perimeter in order to win games and to put us in a position to make moves during the championship. And that's what they got to be convinced to do.
You have 30 seconds. Good or bad with what the Golden State Warriors are building here? Boogie Cousins joining that team. Is this good or bad for the league?
Tremendous. Now, look, we are a fan base that loves dynasties and great teams. If you don't have a transcendent team,
is it really a great team when it's not really kind of self-made?
It is self-made for the most part. I mean, remember the core was drafted.
Durant and Boogie?
But no, they weren't drafted.
I know, but
Curry was drafted.
Okay, Klay
Thompson.
Okay.
And so was Draymond Green.
Okay, that's 3.
That was 3 of the 5 that were drafted. Hey, you build your core, you fill in with free agent teams, and remember, they built themselves to a point where superstars want to come there. I wish we lived in a town like that.
Hey, we're the home of the Stanley Cup champions.
That's it. How about Rock the Rick, Obi?
Final thoughts with Mark Gray when
Smith
Toyota Sports
Pele.
Talk continues after the break. DSP! Final 30 seconds with Mark Gray. I haven't talked to you about LeBron James. Will he win an NBA championship with the Lakers before his time is done?
I don't know, man. Now, as long as Golden State is the premier team to beat, and there's a team, that's the team that most free agents want to go to because they know they got a chance to get a ring.
Man, that West is loaded. Houston, Golden State, LeBron with LA, San Antonio.
Well, San Antonio could be on the way down.
Yeah, you're right. All right, my friend.
Hey,
Great to
man,
have you.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Scott brought me a title, y'all. He brought me a title.
That's right, we're hoisting the cup, baby. All right, thank you for watching, and thank you for Mark for joining us. We're going to see you right back here tomorrow night for another edition of Toyota Sports Talk. Have a great night, everybody.